Hot Springs National Park, located in central Garland County, Arkansas, near the city of Hot Springs, holds a unique place in the history of the United States. It was first protected by an act of Congress on April 20, 1832, marking the first time federal land was set aside for recreation and preservation, long before the modern national park system existed. The area became well known for its thermal waters, believed for centuries to possess healing properties, a belief shared by Native American tribes who had visited the springs for thousands of years. The region became a thriving spa destination after federal protection, and in January 10, 1851, the city of Hot Springs was incorporated. By the early 20th century, the city was famous for spring training for Major League Baseball, illegal gambling during Prohibition, and notorious figures like Al Capone. It was also known for horse racing at Oaklawn Park and was the boyhood home of Bill Clinton, the 42nd President of the United States. The park officially became a national park on March 4, 1921, and until 2018, it was the smallest national park in the country. In April 2010, Hot Springs National Park was honored as the first park to be featured on the America the Beautiful Quarter series. The springs emerge from the western slope of Hot Springs Mountain, part of the Ouachita Mountains. While the springs have been altered for managed use, ensuring clean water for bathing, the park's mountains are preserved to protect the hydrological system. Unlike many parks, Hot Springs National Park includes parts of downtown Hot Springs, making it one of the most accessible parks in the nation. Visitors can enjoy hiking trails, camping, and thermal bathing at designated bathhouses. The historic Bathhouse Row, a National Historic Landmark district, showcases stunning Gilded Age architecture. The Fordyce Bathhouse now serves as the park's visitor center, while the Buckstaff and Quapaw bathhouses remain operational. For thousands of years, indigenous people visited this area, known as the Valley of the Vapors. Spanish explorer Hernando de Soto reached the springs in 1541, though Native American use dates back over 8,000 years. The Caddo, Choctaw, Cherokee, and Quapaw tribes were among those who gathered here peacefully to benefit from the waters. European claims began in 1673 with French explorers Marquette and Joliet. The land changed hands between France, Spain, and finally the United States after the Louisiana Purchase in 1803. Explorers William Dunbar and George Hunter surveyed the area in 1804. The first permanent settler, Jean-Emmanuel Prudhomme, arrived in 1807. The Quapaw ceded the land in 1818, and in 1832, Congress designated it a federal reservation. By the late 19th century, Hot Springs had grown, with elaborate bathhouses replacing primitive huts. The government made extensive improvements, including street expansions and sanitation systems. Today, the park spans over 5,000 acres, preserving this historic and scenic area for future generations. Crystal Bridges Museum of American Art, located in Bentonville, Arkansas, stands as a remarkable cultural landmark that celebrates the richness of American art. Founded by Alice Walton, the museum officially welcomed visitors on November 11, 2011. The vision behind Crystal Bridges was to create a space where people could engage with great works of American art while being surrounded by the serene beauty of nature. The museum's unique design blends seamlessly with its natural surroundings, offering visitors a peaceful setting to experience both art and the outdoors. The museum's permanent collection features a wide range of American art, spanning from the colonial period to contemporary times. Among its most treasured pieces are iconic portraits of George Washington by Charles Willson Peale and Gilbert Stuart, each capturing the historic figure with great artistic mastery. The collection also showcases Asher Brown Durand's Kindred Spirits, a beloved painting that highlights the connection between art and the American landscape, as well as Norman Rockwell's Rosie the Riveter, a celebrated symbol of American resilience and strength. In addition to these masterpieces, the museum holds significant works by renowned artists such as John Singer Sargent, Thomas Eakins, William Merritt Chase, and Andy Warhol, ensuring a rich and diverse representation of styles and periods within its galleries. One of the highlights of the collection is the impressive selection of works by Thomas Hart Benton. The museum features 15 of his pieces, including sketches, lithographs, and paintings that reflect Benton's distinct style and focus on American life. Notable works by Benton in the collection include Tobacco Sorters, created between 1942 and 1944, Plowing It Under, which dates from 1934 to 1964, and The Steel Mill, painted in 1930. These works capture Benton's ability to depict scenes of labor, industry, and the everyday experiences of American people with a dramatic, almost cinematic flair. Beyond its art collections, Crystal Bridges is also known for its stunning architecture and surrounding grounds, which include walking trails, sculpture gardens, and reflecting ponds that invite visitors to explore and connect with the environment. The museum regularly hosts temporary exhibitions from major national institutions, offering fresh perspectives and exciting new works to its visitors. It also provides educational programs, workshops, and lectures, creating opportunities for learning and engagement for audiences of all ages. Crystal Bridges Museum of American Art has quickly become a beloved destination for art lovers and travelers alike, serving as both a cultural hub and a tribute to the enduring spirit of American creativity and heritage. Floating along the Buffalo National River is considered one of the most iconic experiences in the state of Arkansas. This remarkable river stretches for 132 miles, weaving through scenic rapids, towering rocky bluffs, and lush forests, making it a paradise for paddlers and nature lovers alike. Canoeing, kayaking, and rafting here have become a cherished tradition, with visitors from all over flocking to the river to enjoy its crystal-clear waters and breathtaking views. Floating season generally begins in late March and continues through late July, though some adventurous souls enjoy the river year-round. The river is typically divided into 3 sections: the upper, middle, and lower. The upper section is best floated during the months of April and May, when the water is at its fullest and the rapids are most thrilling. During June and July, the middle section tends to offer better water levels, making it ideal for summer floats. For those looking to paddle the entire length of the river, late spring is the prime time to go. When planning a trip, it is important to check river conditions and water levels to ensure a safe and enjoyable journey. Choosing the right gear is essential for a successful float. Options include kayaks, canoes, rafts, and tubes. Rafts and tubes are great for shorter, more leisurely day trips, especially for families or larger groups. Canoes and kayaks, on the other hand, are better suited for longer trips, especially if you plan to camp along the way, as they can carry more gear and are easier to maneuver. Rentals for all types of vessels are readily available in nearby towns. It is important to pack essential items such as life jackets, which are legally required for all paddlers, along with sun protection like sunscreen, sunglasses, and hats. Dry bags are highly recommended to keep phones and valuables safe from water. Also, be sure to bring plenty of snacks and drinks to stay fueled and hydrated during the float. Every float requires both a starting point and an end point. Shuttle services are common in the area and make planning much easier by transporting you and your gear between locations. Most rental shops include shuttle service with their gear rentals. But even if you bring your own vessel, you can pay for a shuttle service to avoid the hassle of moving cars between sites. The Buffalo National River offers routes for all skill levels, from beginner-friendly half-day floats to challenging multi-day adventures. Many visitors enjoy short routes that allow them to explore several parts of the river within one trip. More ambitious paddlers can plan a multi-day journey with overnight camping stops along the way. The most adventurous may even take on the entire river, a trip that typically lasts 7 days or longer. While floating, it is important to practice leave no trace principles, watch the weather closely, and be prepared for occasional tip-overs. At the end of the day, lodging options abound, including luxury cabins, backcountry camping, and primitive campsites with basic amenities. No matter how you choose to experience the Buffalo National River, the adventure promises to be unforgettable. Mount Magazine State Park sits atop the highest peak in Arkansas, known as Mount Magazine, a towering plateau that rises from the Arkansas River Valley to an elevation of 2,753 feet above sea level. The steep rise, measuring roughly 2,200 feet between the summit and nearby valleys, offers breathtaking panoramic views that consistently draw visitors. Although Native Americans did not reside year-round on the mountain, they lived in nearby lower areas along the Arkansas and Petit Jean rivers. Archaeologists have identified 6 sites on Mount Magazine that date back to the Archaic period, spanning from approximately 9,500 to 650 years before Christ. In a bluff shelter near the summit, researchers have also discovered pottery shards, animal bones, and mussel shell fragments from the woodland and Mississippian cultural periods. Rock flakes and projectile points crafted from stones native to both the Ozark and Ouachita Mountains suggest that Mount Magazine was once a hub for trade between distant communities to the north and south. The earliest white settlers arrived in the Mount Magazine region during the middle of the 19th century, with most coming from other states and parts of Western Europe. Settlement intensified between 1850 and 1930, and during this period, the mountain began to attract visitors seeking mountain air and recreational opportunities. By the year 1900, the town of Magazine was officially platted atop the mountain, and in the following years, hotels sprang up to accommodate the growing number of tourists. A railroad that ran along the southern base of the mountain helped boost tourism even further. However, the Great Depression brought tourism to a halt, and many of the hotels and resorts fell into disrepair. In 1934, the federal government purchased the land through the United States Resettlement Administration and transferred it to the U.S. Forest Service. The Works Progress Administration soon began constructing a gravel road over the mountain connecting the towns of Paris and Havana. James W. Hardy, the civil engineer who oversaw the project, was later buried near the road he helped build, and his monument still stands today. Between the years 1938 and 1941, the Civilian Conservation Corps developed many of the park's early features, including a lodge, restaurant, cabins, campsites, and picnic areas. Although the original lodge was lost to a fire in 1971, public support led to its eventual replacement. By the mid-1970s, studies were completed to evaluate the potential of converting the site into a state park. In 1983, the Arkansas General Assembly approved the request to transfer management to the state park system. Mount Magazine State Park officially opened in 2001, and while the U.S. Forest Service still owns the land, the Arkansas Department of Parks and Tourism operates and maintains the park. Covering about 2,200 acres, the park offers cabins, campgrounds, picnic areas, a visitor center, and a lodge with 60 rooms overlooking the Petit Jean River Valley and Blue Mountain Lake. Guests enjoy activities such as hiking, camping, rock climbing, horseback riding, hang gliding, stargazing, and even ice climbing. The mountain's cool climate and rich ecology make it one of Arkansas's most unique natural treasures. Petit Jean State Park, Arkansas's first state park, stands as a testament to the state's natural beauty and history. Located atop Petit Jean Mountain, the park features a diverse landscape of forests, ravines, streams, springs, scenic overlooks, and distinctive geological formations, making it one of the most beloved parks in the state. According to legend, the mountain is named for a young French girl who, in the 1700s, disguised herself as a cabin boy to join her fiancé on an expedition to the New World. Known as Petit Jean, meaning Little John, she became gravely ill while the explorers camped on the mountain and asked to be buried there. The concept of preserving this area began in the early 20th century. In 1907, officials from the Fort Smith Lumber Company, recognizing that logging certain areas of the mountain was too costly, suggested donating the land to create a national park. Thomas William Hardison, the company's physician, led this campaign. However, in 1921, the National Park Service deemed the area too small for national park designation. Hardison and his supporters then turned to the Arkansas legislature, which embraced the idea. In 1923, Petit Jean became Arkansas's first state park. From 1933 to 1941, the Civilian Conservation Corps, composed largely of World War I veterans, developed much of the park's early infrastructure. Their projects included roads, cabins, bridges, lakes, and trails that remain in use today. Mather Lodge, a 24-room guest facility built by the CCC, is especially notable, as it is the only lodge of its kind in an Arkansas State Park and stands on the National Register of Historic Places. The Cedar Falls Trail, a 2-mile round-trip hike beginning at Mather Lodge, is recognized as a National Historic District. Mather Lodge closed for renovations in December 2010 and reopened in May 2012 after a renovation project aimed at modernizing the facility while preserving its historical character. In the late 1940s, the park introduced more modern architectural styles with the construction of a 2-story dormitory, followed by additional cabins, swimming pools, and building renovations through the 1950s to the 1970s. In recent decades, restoration efforts have focused on preserving the rustic charm of the park's original structures. The mountaintop ranges from about 750 to 1,207 feet in elevation and showcases striking terrains such as Cedar Creek Canyon, Turtle Rocks, springs, caves, and rare plant species. A forest fire in August 2000 burned hundreds of acres, but wildlife quickly returned. Today, the park offers cabins, campsites, swimming pools, tennis courts, playgrounds, picnic areas, and a lodge with a restaurant and gift shop. Visitors can explore Lake Bailey and Lake Roosevelt or visit the 17,000 square foot Dr. T. W. Hardison Visitor Center, which opened in December 2020. 20 miles of interconnected trails lead to landmarks like Rock House Cave, Bear Cave, and 70-foot Cedar Falls. The park also preserves historical sites, including tropical fern fossils, an early settler's cabin from 1845, and Native American pictographs. The Museum of Automobiles, featuring vintage cars from 1904 onward, adds yet another layer of charm atop Petit Jean Mountain. The Ozark St. Francis National Forests are known for their remarkable topographical, geological, and biological diversity, making them significant both for conservation and recreation. Managed by the United States Department of Agriculture Forest Service, these forests follow a multiple-use management model that balances timber production, wildlife conservation, and recreation. Their hardwood timber, particularly valuable for the furniture industry in northwest Arkansas, is harvested in a sustainable manner, making these forests an important renewable resource. On December 18, 1907, President Theodore Roosevelt established the Arkansas National Forest, now known as the Ouachita National Forest, from lands south of the Arkansas River. Shortly after, on March 6, 1908, Roosevelt created the Ozark National Forest from land north of the river, marking it as the first major hardwood timber land under federal protection, ensuring long-term benefits for both industry and conservation. Initially, the forest headquarters was located in Fort Smith, with Samuel J. Record serving as the first forest supervisor for both the Arkansas and Ozark forests. Later in 1908, the Ozark National Forest appointed its own supervisor, David Fitton, who relocated the headquarters to Harrison. In 1918, the headquarters moved again to Russellville, where it remains today in the historic Kuhn Building. Throughout the early years, the boundaries of the Ozark National Forest frequently changed by presidential proclamations. Notable changes included the transfer of the Magazine Ranger District from the Ouachita to the Ozark under President Franklin Roosevelt, the establishment of the Henry R. Kuhn Experimental Forest on June 14, 1950, and President Dwight Eisenhower's proclamation on November 8, 1960, creating the St. Francis National Forest. The St. Francis National Forest covers over 23,000 acres, named for the St. Francis River, with terrain varying from the hills of Crowley's Ridge to flat lowlands along the St. Francis and Mississippi rivers. Originally part of the Mariana Helena project managed by the Soil Conservation Service, this land was designated as the St. Francis National Forest in 1960 and formally placed under the Ozark National Forest Administration on January 15, 1961. Today, both forests are jointly administered from Russellville. Their operations include wilderness protection, wildlife management, timber harvesting, and prescribed burns to promote forest health. Together, they encompass more than 1,200,000 acres of protected national forest land. The forests offer numerous recreational opportunities, from the flat delta to the rugged Ozark terrain. Visitors can enjoy camping, hiking, canoeing, and scenic drives. As of 2009, the forests include 23 campgrounds with 320 campsites, 360 miles of multi-use trails, and over 230 miles of hiking paths. Water recreation is available on 1,600 acres of lakes, 370 miles of fishable streams, and 164 miles of 6 designated wild and scenic rivers. 5 federally designated wilderness areas provide secluded settings for hiking, hunting, photography, and wildlife observation. The forests are home to 5 endangered and 3 threatened species, along with a vast variety of other wildlife that thrive in their diverse habitats. The Mildred B. Cooper Memorial Chapel, often referred to simply as the Cooper Chapel, is a non-denominational chapel located in Bella Vista, within Benton County. This striking structure was designed by architect E. Fay Jones, in collaboration with his longtime business partner of 25 years, Maurice Jennings. Jones is also known for his iconic design of Thorncrown Chapel in Eureka Springs, situated in Carroll County. The chapel was commissioned in memory of Mildred Borum Cooper, the wife of prominent businessman John Cooper Sr., who developed 3 major retirement and recreational communities in Arkansas between the 1950s and the 1970s, including Bella Vista Village, which opened in 1965 in the northwestern part of the state. Mildred Borum Cooper, born in the town of Earl in Crittenden County in 1906, was a successful businesswoman in her own right. She had worked as a postmistress in West Memphis as well as in Cherokee Village, where she also owned and operated gift shops in both Cherokee Village and Bella Vista. Beyond her business endeavors, she actively participated in numerous church and civic organizations. In 1937, as a widow raising her 2 daughters, and in Boyce, Mildred married John Cooper. Together, they had 2 additional children, John Jr. and Rebecca. Mildred B. Cooper passed away in December of 1983. After her passing, the Cooper family decided to honor her memory by building a chapel. A family entity led by her daughter, and Bassor, as president, was formed to oversee the project. The family selected Jones and Jennings, renowned architects based in Fayetteville and Washington County, for the design. The chosen location for the chapel was an 8-acre wooded hillside overlooking Lake Norwood, just above the town center in Bella Vista. Ownership of the land was officially transferred by Cooper Communities through a warranty deed on December 19, 1985, after which construction began. The design drew inspiration from Thorncrown Chapel, featuring 15 soaring arches that rise to a height of 50 feet. The construction incorporated 31 tons of steel and more than 4,460 square feet of glass, creating a structure that is approximately 24 feet wide and 65 feet long, with seating for 120 guests. The chapel offers stunning views of the surrounding woodland, and during the winter, visitors can also see Lake Norwood below. A concrete pathway encircles the chapel grounds, and the entire project cost slightly more than $1 million to complete. The first event held at the chapel was a wedding on February 27, 1988, and it was formally dedicated on April 2nd of that same year. Today, the chapel is owned and managed by the Mildred B. Cooper Memorial Chapel, Incorporated, with a full-time, on-site director overseeing operations from a separate office building located nearby. Open every day to the public, free of charge, the chapel hosts various private events, including weddings, vow renewals, concerts, cultural programs, baptisms, and memorial services, though regular church services are not held there. Maintenance is supported entirely through tax-deductible private donations. Garvin Woodland Gardens, located in Hot Springs within Garland County, is a 210-acre botanical garden managed by the School of Architecture at the University of Arkansas in Fayetteville, situated in Washington County. This remarkable woodland garden lies along 4.5 miles of scenic Lake Hamilton shoreline and operates as a non-profit organization. Its mission centers on enriching the public's appreciation for plants, gardening, architecture, and landscape design, with a particular focus on enhancing aesthetic, cultural, and scientific understanding within a natural woodland setting. The land's history began in the 1920s, when Arthur Cook, a businessman from Malvern in Hot Spring County, purchased the acreage to harvest timber for his hardwood flooring company, Wisconsin-Arkansas Lumber. Soon after, Arkansas Power and Light constructed Carpenter Dam, creating Lake Hamilton and transforming the property into a prominent peninsula. Following Cook's death in a car accident in 1934, ownership of the land, along with Wisconsin-Arkansas Lumber and Malvern Brick and Tile Company, passed to his wife and 2 daughters. Verna, the younger daughter, eventually assumed leadership of the family's enterprises, operating Malvern Brick and Tile for over 4 decades with her second husband, Patrick Garvin, before selling the company in the 1970s. Inspired by the property's beauty, Verna Garvin became an avid, self-taught gardener and conservationist, devoting more than 30 years to developing an expansive garden that showcased the natural splendor of Arkansas. Her original dream of building a home on the land faded after the passing of her husband in 1975, but her passion for gardening flourished. Determined to share the gardens with the public, she collaborated with Warren Bankson, a trusted employee, to build infrastructure and plant thousands of trees, shrubs, and flowers, creating what she named the 20th Century Gardens. Recognizing the need for professional guidance, Garvin signed a trust agreement with the University of Arkansas on November 11, 1985, ensuring the School of Architecture would oversee the gardens in perpetuity. She later commissioned architect E. Fay Jones and his partner Maurice Jennings to design the first structure on the site, the Verna C. Garvin Pavilion, crafted from redwood and native stone. Garvin passed away on October 1, 1993, before its completion. In the early 1990s, university faculty and staff began cataloging the gardens under her guidance. By 1999, a comprehensive master plan was completed, and in March of 2000, construction began on the Garden of the Pine Wind, which quickly gained national acclaim. In 2000, the gardens were renamed Garvin Woodland Gardens, with a new welcome center built from wood and native stone. The gardens officially opened to the public on April 7, 2002. Over time, new features emerged, including a bird sanctuary, a scenic walking trail, and in September 2006, the Grand Anthony Chapel Complex, a striking 6-story wood and glass chapel. The gardens continued to evolve, with the addition of the Bob and Sonny Evans Tree House in 2018, further cementing Garvin Woodland Gardens as one of Arkansas's most treasured landscapes. The Eureka Springs Historic District, located in the city of Eureka Springs, Arkansas, is a beautifully preserved Victorian-era resort town celebrated for its historical and architectural significance. Recognized on the National Register of Historic Places, the district encompasses the entire downtown area and is renowned for its captivating blend of residential, commercial, and public buildings. Many of these structures date back to the late 19th and early 20th centuries, showcasing a wide range of architectural styles, most notably the elaborate Queen and Second Empire designs. These architectural gems reflect the town's peak as a resort destination during the turn of the 20th century, when visitors from across the country flocked to the area to experience its natural beauty and therapeutic waters. One of the most distinctive aspects of the Eureka Springs Historic District is its dramatic multi-level layout, shaped by the rugged terrain of the Ozark Mountains. The town's streets and buildings follow the natural contours of the land, resulting in a strikingly layered appearance. Winding roads, hidden staircases, and narrow alleyways weave throughout the district, offering a sense of discovery around every corner. The historic cobblestone streets further enhance the district's old-world charm, preserving the ambience of a bygone era and adding to its timeless appeal. Eureka Springs was originally founded on the allure of its numerous natural springs, which were once believed to possess powerful healing properties. These springs played a crucial role in the town's development, drawing early settlers and health seekers to the region. Many of these springs remain preserved as cultural landmarks within the historic district, surrounded by lush landscapes and serene gathering spaces. Beyond its architectural beauty and natural springs, the Eureka Springs Historic District holds great historical significance. It stands as one of the earliest areas in Arkansas to be recognized on the National Register of Historic Places, representing a rare example of a Victorian resort town that has retained much of its original character and infrastructure. Today, the district continues to serve as a vibrant hub for tourism, welcoming visitors eager to explore its unique blend of history, architecture, and scenic surroundings. The town's streets are lined with an array of inviting shops, charming restaurants, cozy cafes, and eclectic art galleries, all housed within historic buildings that tell the story of Eureka Springs' rich past. As visitors stroll through the district, they are greeted by stunning architectural details, panoramic mountain views, and the soothing presence of the town's famed springs. With its enchanting atmosphere, fascinating history, and breathtaking scenery, the Eureka Springs Historic District remains a treasured destination that captures the spirit and elegance of Victorian-era America while continuing to charm and inspire visitors from near and far. Blanchard Springs Caverns is a stunning limestone cave system located deep beneath the Sylamore Ranger District of the Ozark, St. Francis National Forest, about 15 miles northwest of Mountain View, Arkansas. It is the only cave in the country managed by the United States Forest Service and is widely regarded as one of the most beautiful caves in America. 3 different guided tours offer visitors the chance to explore this remarkable underground world: the Dripstone Trail, which operates throughout the year, the Discovery Trail, available in the summer, and the Wild Cave Tour, which requires a special reservation. The caverns were formed from limestone rock created by fossilized sea creatures that settled at the bottom of an ancient sea hundreds of millions of years ago. Geological shifts around 300 million years ago uplifted this seabed to create the Ozark Plateau. Over countless years, rainfall seeped into cracks in the limestone, slowly carving out cavities. As water continued to flow and recede, these hollow chambers remained, creating the expansive caverns seen today. Water dripping from the cave ceiling deposited minerals such as calcium carbonate, forming breathtaking features known as speleothems, which are still growing today. A spring that created the cavern emerges dramatically from the mountainside as a waterfall before flowing into Mirror Lake, a trout pond. This spring was named after John H. Blanchard, a Confederate soldier from Kentucky who later settled in the Ozarks and built a mill powered by this spring. Though graffiti inside the cave includes John 1922, it was not left by Blanchard, as he passed away in 1914. Early locals knew of the cave, but its entrance was extremely difficult to access, delaying exploration until modern methods made it possible. The first recorded visit occurred in 1934 by Willard Hadley of the Civilian Conservation Corps. However, ancient signs of human exploration, including torches, were found and dated back as far as the 3rd century. The first professional cave survey took place in 1960, with further mapping by scuba divers in 1971, who documented miles of underwater passages and breathtaking cave formations. Blanchard Springs Caverns is considered a living cave because water continues to sculpt it. Visitors marvel at the underground river, soda straws, stalactites, stalagmites, columns, and flowstone formations. The cave maintains a steady temperature of 58 degrees Fahrenheit with nearly full humidity year-round. Opened in 1973, the Dripstone Trail Tour takes visitors more than 200 feet below ground into chambers like the enormous Cathedral Room. The Discovery Trail, launched in 1977, follows the natural streambed and includes dramatic areas such as the Ghost Room. The Wild Cave Tour offers an adventurous journey through undeveloped sections for well-prepared visitors. Blanchard Springs Caverns is also home to diverse wildlife, including endangered bats and the unique Ozark blind salamander. Environmental preservation remains a priority, with educational exhibits, films, and nearby camping areas enhancing the visitor experience. Today, this natural wonder continues to inspire awe and remains a treasured destination within Arkansas.